If you've ever picked up a new barrier repair product and thought, I'll use this just in case, this video is for you. These days everyone's talking about the skin barrier, but with that awareness comes something else, quiet anxiety. The fear of doing damage, of missing a step, of not protecting your skin enough. And so we layer on barrier creams, slugging balms, recovery serums, even when there's no clear sign our skin needs saving. I've done it too. And the truth is, overcorrecting can be just as disruptive as the actives we're trying to recover from. In this video, we'll talk about when your skin truly needs barrier support and when all that extra care might be doing more harm than good. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Anne, a medical doctor here to teach you how to best take care of your skin and general well-being. Let's break it down from a medical perspective. Your skin's first job is to protect. It keeps hydration in and environmental stressors out. This barrier function is provided by different things, the polarity of the epidermis, for example, filaggrin, or a structure called tight junctions in the stratum granulosum. What is mostly referenced when we talk about skin barrier in the context of cosmetics, though, is the lipid matrix made up of cholesterol, free fatty acids, and ceramides. You surely have heard about the brick and mortar structure. This brick and mortar structure is more than a metaphor. It's a model we use to describe how corneocytes and lipids physically hold the barrier together. The bricks being the corneocytes, skin cells that lost their nucleus, and the mortar being a mixture of ceramides, cholesterol, and free fatty acids that cement them together. How well this barrier works on its own depends largely on your genetics. Many chronic skin conditions like atopic dermatitis show genetic changes that influence the formation. Our environment, as in the climate we live in, and this one playing a huge role, the things we decide to do to or with our skin. You may have the same genetic predisposition as someone else, but how you treat your skin matters just as much. For example, if I keep my hands immersed in water repeatedly because I do the dishes without wearing gloves, my skin barrier might well get compromised. If I just sit at my desk at the office typing the day away, my hands will be just fine. Same genetic disposition, same climate, different way I treat my skin. Let's step back for a moment. Before barrier repair became a trend, skincare was in a very different place and frankly a bit too aggressive. Brands like The Ordinary had just made strong actives available to basically everyone, sometimes without clear guidance on how or how often to use them. Don't get me wrong, I'm a firm believer in targeted actives and regular exfoliation, especially as my skin cells have taken on a more relaxed schedule when it comes to turning over without external stimulation, something that will happen with age. But there is a too much of a good thing, and without proper guidance, you could see people using The Ordinary AHA 30% plus BHA 2% solution daily for that elusive glow. No hate for that specific product. It's great when used by the right person in the right frequency. It is merely an example for the common overuse of peelings and the tendency to over-cleanse, stripping the skin of everything that made up the barrier in the process. The layer of corneocytes that form the bricks and the layer of lipids in between that form the mortar in the analogy. The brick wall had holes, and through these holes hydration evaporated and irritants entered the deeper layers, causing dehydration, inflammation, and sensitivity. So with more and more people realizing the problem, the pendulum started to swing back, and as it often goes, it didn't stop in the middle, but swung all the way through to the other extreme, the rise of the barrier repair fleet. These days, every brand out there seems to offer barrier repair products, and no routines on social media seem to be complete without at least one, sometimes multiple things to target said repair. And through all that, what actually qualifies as barrier repair isn't clearly defined. It is just something printed on a label, which leads to a lot of confusion among consumers. Do I actually need to repair my barrier? And if yes, what do I need to look for? We will look at that and at the dark side of barrier repair now. Let's talk symptoms, because many people worry about their skin barrier without knowing what the true barrier damage actually looks like. Unless you're dealing with a genetic skin condition like atopic eczema, your skin barrier is likely functioning as it should. Of course, if you're trekking through sub-zero mountains or, I don't know, man a fishing boat roaming the turbulent ocean for days on end, your skin will need extra protection. But for most of us, commuting, walking the dog, daily exposure isn't usually enough to damage the barrier. Where things often go wrong is self-inflicted. Over-cleansing, over-exfoliation, or starting prescription-strength actives like tretinoin without proper adjustment. I use tretinoin for my adult acne, and while it's effective, it absolutely has the potential to disrupt my skin barrier, especially if I'm not paying attention. So, how do you know if your skin barrier might actually be compromised? I have an in-depth video on that here, but here are some red flags. Redness, flakiness, sudden sensitivity to products that used to work, and even water feeling irritating on the skin. Another helpful test is time. If your skin feels a little tender after using an exfoliant but settles in 24 hours, that's likely a temporary reaction. But if symptoms persist for several days or get worse, you may be dealing with a real barrier issue. If you're unsure, don't guess. Talk to a professional. Social media trends can be fun, but they're not a substitute for proper diagnosis. Now, what if you suspect something is off, but you're not sure? Is it ever a bad idea to use barrier repair products just in case? That won't be a problem, right? Well, wrong. Or at least not completely right. There could be some issues when doing barrier repair stuff you don't actually need. First, there's the financial cost. Many barrier repair products come at a premium, often without offering more than a well-formulated basic moisturizer. Second, every new product adds complexity, and with complexity comes risk. Your skin thrives on consistency. Unnecessary layers can lead to irritation, not repair. Third, it adds to the overwhelm. Ceramides, emollients, occlusives. The label might say barrier support, but without knowing what your skin actually needs, you're left guessing. And often what is marketed as barrier repair is just a moisturizer with good PR. Fourth, texture matters. Many barrier repair products are heavy and occlusive, great for dry skin, not ideal for those prone to congestion or sensitivity. Overuse can lead to clogged pores or even perioral dermatitis. While the triggers for that one are not fully identified, it seems to be linked to the use of many and occlusive products. And perhaps most importantly, fear of harming your barrier can stop you from using ingredients like exfoliants or retinoids that would actually help your skin concerns when used correctly. So no, barrier repair isn't always harmless, especially if it leads you further away from what your skin actually needs. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That applies to your skin barrier as well as the rest of your life. So let's talk about when a barrier-focused routine actually makes sense, outside of having a diagnosed genetic disposition to barrier issues, of course. First, when you're using strong prescription actives like tretinoin for adult acne, for example. These ingredients are effective, but they can disrupt the skin barrier, especially in the adjustment phase. Second, when you're exposed to harsh conditions, think skiing in cold wind or long-haul flights with dry cabin air. These environments can compromise even a healthy barrier. And third, if your skin suddenly becomes sensitive, products sting, redness appears, or even water feels irritating, those are clear signals that your barrier may need support. These are the moments when a barrier-focused routine can be truly helpful, not as a lifelong strategy, but as a temporary reset. Let's be clear, repairing your skin barrier isn't about buying more products. In fact, it's often the opposite. If you suspect your barrier is damaged, simplify. Strip your routine back to the essentials, a gentle cleanser and a plain hydrating moisturizer. Is it helpful if your moisturizer contains ceramides or other ingredients claiming to support the skin barrier? Maybe, but as I said in my video on ceramides, there is way too much we don't know yet in general, and especially about your individual reasons for skin barrier problems, to give you a list of what to look for. Most well-formulated moisturizers will support recovery, even if they don't say barrier repair on the front. When my skin feels off, after a long flight, a day in the cold, or when I've tested too many products, I stop everything. No exfoliants, no vitamin C, no face mists or ampoules or what have you. Just cleanse and moisturize. For moisturizing, I personally do like the La Roche-Posay Cicaplast Balm B5 with panthenol, but other plain ones would do as well. I wouldn't go out of my way to buy it if it wasn't a staple in my routine already. Works great for dry patches on my children's faces as well. These days, I can catch early signs quickly, so a few days of minimal care is usually enough. But in the past, when I was first starting Tretinoing and testing new products for this channel, I pushed too far and messed my barrier up big time. It took weeks of recovery. That's how I learned your skin doesn't need more, it needs the right kind of less. If your skin is acting up, don't self-diagnose based on a trend. See a professional. That's always better than chasing products that might only make things worse. And if you enjoyed this video, you will most likely enjoy the ones I linked on the screen here. Don't forget to check out the description box for everything else I have to offer, and like and subscribe so you don't miss the next video.